My name is Ian Wishingrad, and I'm the marketing guy here today. So up until a few months ago, I didn't know what this stuff was. To me, blockchain was Bitcoin, and most people think. And I was fortunate enough to meet. And I was fortunate enough to meet one of the guys putting this on today, and he asked me. He goes, "You know, there's so much tech talk in this whole space. It would be great if you could come and kind of give your consumer marketing hat on and help figure out how we could increase adoption." And I don't think that means just going and figuring out a cool advertising campaign per se. So I'm going to tell some quick stories today and try to leave it at the end to give Q&A about the whole process. So I run an advertising agency called Big Eyed Wish. We're here in New York City. We work with clients. Okay, this is what I really want to talk about, okay? I want to rebrand NFTs. And what I mean by that is that for the normal person, when they hear the word non-fungible tokens, it kind of sounds like a disease your grandma has in her feet. Hold on, yeah. That when I hear non-fungible tokens, that's what I think of, I'm trying to help bridge the gap between the tech world and how else we kind of come to appreciate and adapt technology. So for today, I'd like NFT to stand for new fun technology, and put us in this fun space of where the possibilities are. Everything is incredibly nascent. There's a lot of possibility here, and as a marketer, what you try to do is you ask a lot of questions to get to the root of what this really is, so you could translate it to most people. And most people don't have the capacity to take in all this like decentralized ledger or whatnot. They just want to understand what's in it for me. What are you doing? Are you adding transparency? Are you adding security? These things are meaningful to people, but some of the weedy early stage part of this tech world is not that important. So I had to ask myself, do I have any examples in my life where I could imagine receiving something as an NFT or something that I would receive in the analog world that would come really well as an NFT. So I want to talk a minute about Whoopi Goldberg. She and I are loosely acquainted. I could say we're like loosely acquaintances. We did a project a couple years ago, and I stay in touch. And I was very fortunate that this past Christmas, she sent me a customized Whoopi Goldberg ornament. I don't even celebrate Christmas, and I was very excited to receive this ornament. On the back, it said number 158 of 450. And the first thing I naturally did was go on Instagram. I showed myself unboxing my Whoopi Goldberg ornament and dangling it around, taking pictures of it because, hey man, a celebrity gave me something. It was pretty cool. But the truth of the matter is, what is this thing? It's just a piece of metal for a couple pennies. It's not like that there's I could resell this for much of anything, but it meant a lot to me, and it gave me this kind of cool social currency bragging rights. And I felt like this is a really interesting proxy for what NFTs could be, because I don't really care that it was this ornament. If there was a way via Ethereum, which we can do now with distributed ledgers, that I could say that this is Ian Wishingrad's Whoopi Goldberg coin, no one else has this, or Whoopi Goldberg Christmas ornament in a tokenized version, that would have the same value to me. And right now this is sitting in my one-bedroom apartment with my wife and baby and the top shelf of 1,200 square feet. I might lose this thing, but if I could have this permanently and prove that it's that immutable, that would be pretty cool. It was so funny that my office, my staff started to they even made a fake certificate for me because I was so proud to receive this celebrity gift that it was literally a joke. And Melissa said, Ian is the recipient of 158 of the Whoopi Goldberg annual Christmas, the mailing. I want to just keep track of time. So I want to use as an example, one of the companies here is called CoinCred, okay? And the way the marketers like to use examples and not talk in such broad terms, for example. So for CoinCred, if you go to their website, it says, actionable coins, create digital coins for the blockchain that create engagement, promote your content, spur your friends, tell your story. Now, if you're in this space, that might make sense to you, but if you're a layperson like me who doesn't understand this stuff, I read it, it's English, but I'm still confused and I needed some context. So that Whoopi example helped make sense that if Whoopi had instead made a Whoopi coin and parted in the art direction on this, this would have been just as valuable to me. And if not more, because I could keep it forever. And I feel like, you bring on someone of some celebrity, and there's many other ways to do this, but this was my personal example of how this was valuable to me. Now, the question is, so you're CoinCred, and this is one of the companies here among many others, and I'd like to focus on them is, okay, so how do we go to market? Most people aren't going to start saying take billboards out in Times Square and run a Super Bowl commercial. Most early technologies take time to adapt, and you have to kind of grit it out and get users on board and figure out how to increase adoption. It's years before you need the ad agency, per se. So I imagine myself as the founder of this company, and what would I try to do? And what I found in the past, which kind of creates a lot of earned media and virality, is you're one of the first people to use the technology in a cool new way. So for all intents and purposes, put your political things aside. Right now, the zeitgeist is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She seems like the other Trump. She's in the news every day. And she is a nice proxy of decentralization because she didn't use one of the big, she has no PAC money. She doesn't have anything from institutions. She has something from every person out there. She knocked on the doors and everyone wants a piece of her, and she is of the people and a fair proxy. So part of her brand is that she doesn't take big money from people. So she's going to want to keep raising it from little people in a decentralized fashion. So what if she had minted through CoinCred AOC coins, for an example? She did 1,000 gold, 10,000 silver, and 100,000 bronze. And then you could spend, you're a big donor, you spend 10,000 bucks and buy a gold coin all the way down to whatever the more affordable bronze one is. This is clearly yours. It's no different than when people always in politics had badges that would say Nixon or whoever they were, Mondale, over the time. Everyone wants to have a piece of that politician. So with CoinCred, not only could you potentially mint these coins and buy them, but they each become their own social network. So just like if I'm a Centurion Black Card Amex holder or a Platinum holder, I want people to know that I'm in that club. Well, now with this technology, you could have your own community, because the truth is we only want to fraternize amongst like people and ourselves. I think we've seen we're kind of tribal. So the rich people get to talk to each other in the coin game, and then the bronze people get to speak to one another. And this is just one of a million examples of how I would start to think about it if I was one of your companies, how I would start to grab into the zeitgeist, make it take an analog process, and bring it over to the blockchain in a way that people can grasp before we go down some very niche rabbit holes. So let's turn it from non-fungible tokens to new fun technology. And now we have about 2.5 minutes to do questions.
So where's my son, Sam? Sam, where are you? Can you stand up? Everyone, this is my son, Sam. He's my youngest. He's 19. He's second year university doing computer science and business. And he is my banker on these occasions. And I know that some of you, quite a few of you, paid for tickets. So Sam, can you come and be my banker? Sam's going to, this is real cash. This is not NFTs. Sam is going to give $20 to the best question. And by the way, I'm on in an hour, and Sam's going to be my banker, and you guys are going to do all the work during my presentation.
Hey, thanks a lot for bringing your viewpoint here. I think it's really important for kind of expanding the ecosystem. So after kind of your 3 months of deep diving here, if you got to give like the 1 minute, what is an NFT to like one of your Madison Avenue friends, what does that sound like?
The digital collectible, I don't want to give the definition because I think what I found is the digital scarcity collectible is where the easiest place for most people to get involved and jump on and be part of it. I think the mentality that needs to be flipped is that the original beauty of the blockchain was all this anonymity, which is why it was associated with so much like buying nuclear bombs and doing drugs, and you have anonymity. But what we've learned from social media is people don't want anonymity. They want to take pictures off cliffs and show you that you're living a better life than them. So if someone could create that trophy case or that way that you could showcase that you're collecting, all we want to do is find a way to show that we're better than you and brag. That's all we're trying to do, is do little social signals all the time that we have more than you or we do such. And that's why social media, it's become all about experiences. So if there was a way to show you my essentially fancy car collection or watch collection, but the version of that in the digital collectible space, that's where it's going to really take off. I think you need to make sure you have that trophy case that everyone could see and partake in, and that's going to help really bring a whole bunch of people here. Yes. So the whole point is that, so the beauty of the blockchain, especially the Ethereum blockchain, is that everyone has a distributed ledger. So the idea is that every single person in the world can see that you, Michael, or whatever your name is the proud owner of 450 of 1,000 AOC coins. That's why it's so special that you get to have that unique identifier. Oh, on that one, it definitely, you'd only want the one that comes from her, and you'd want to trace it that way, and it wouldn't just look like a bad version of her face on a coin. Yeah, that's the whole point, is that everything's so traceable and accountable, and that's why it's interesting to the Sotheby's and the Christie's of the world, because they just want to make sure the veracity of things are there.
What's a parallel marketing challenge you would point to from the past that you can learn from?
So the question was, what's another technology that happened before that took a while to adopt? I do think I don't know, that's tough. This is really different because in general, just paying online, for instance, my parents took 10 years. Like, I'm not giving my credit card to the internet. Like, I think some of these technologies, it takes and no one's done it yet, and that's why the opportunity is so vast, is that if someone knows how to do the Apple part of it, where it's the really consumer-friendly part, and take a lot of the tech away, is where all the magic's gonna happen. But I can't, it's a really fair question. I can't think of one that's like this at the moment. We're done? Okay. Thank you very much.